If your body isn't just randomly attacking itself, and you've been told that you have an autoimmune disease, then the question becomes, what is it reacting to? Because symptoms don't usually come from nowhere. The inflammation, the exhaustion, the brain fog, the flares, the weakness, the burning, the tingling, the feeling that your body is suddenly working against you. What if those are not random failures? What if they are signals? And what if your body has been trying to tell you something for years, but no one has taught you how to listen? That is what we're talking about today. Because if you have MS, autoimmune disease, chronic inflammation, or symptoms that keep coming back no matter what you try, this may be one of the most important pieces to understand. Your body is not stupid. Your body is not lazy. Your body is not betraying you. Your body is responding. The question is, to what? Most people are taught to think of autoimmune disease in a really simple way. Your immune system gets confused. It attacks your body. You manage the symptoms. And that's the end of the conversation. But I don't believe that's enough. Because when you live in a body that has symptoms, you know there is usually a pattern. Maybe you feel worse after stress, or maybe you feel worse after poor sleep, or maybe you feel worse after certain foods, or maybe you feel worse after being sick. Maybe you feel worse when life gets heavy and your body finally says, I cannot carry all of this anymore. And once you start noticing those patterns, you stop seeing your body as random. You start seeing it as overloaded. That doesn't mean everything is simple. It doesn't mean one trigger causes everything, but it does mean that your body has a burden limit. And when that limit gets crossed, symptoms often start to show up. Trigger one is infection and immune activation. This is where we've got to start, especially after the video we just did about MS and the infectious hypothesis. Researchers still do not know one single cause of MS, but major characteristics are recognized by organizations that MS likely develops from a combination of immune, genetic, and environmental factors. The National MS Society lists factors contributing to it, like low vitamin D and smoking or obesity, geography, like where you live, and infections are acknowledged as part of the bigger picture by the National Multiple Sclerosis Society. And one of the biggest infection-related conversations right now is Epstein-Barr virus, or EBV. A major 2022 study published in Science, it followed a large military population and found that EBV infection strongly preceded MS development. Harvard summary described EBV as a likely contribution, or it's likely a leading cause of MS based on the research that they've done. Now, that does not mean that everyone who has EBV gets MS. Most people are exposed to EBV at some point, but it does suggest that in some bodies, an infection may become part of the immune confusion that results from it. And that matters because it changes the question. Instead of only asking, why is my immune system attacking me? We start asking, what activated my immune system in the first place? Because if your immune system has been triggered by something real, the goal is not just to blame the immune system. The goal is to understand the terrain it is living in. Think about what happens when you get sick. Even with a normal virus, your body changes. You feel tired, your muscles ache, your brain feels foggy, you want to sleep, but you lose energy. And this is not weakness. This is your immune system using energy to fight. Now imagine your immune system getting activated again and again and never fully calming down. That is exhausting. And so many people are walking around blaming themselves or just beating themselves up for being tired, foggy, or overwhelmed and inconsistent when their bodies may be carrying an immune burden that is so heavy, and they were never really taught how to recognize it for what it is. So trigger 2 is chronic stress and the nervous system. This trigger being stress, it's not stress in the casual way that people talk about it. I don't mean just relax and everything will be fine. This is not what I mean. I mean real biological stress. The kind your body feels when you're always rushing, always caretaking, always just trying to carry this heavy emotional weight or burden, always trying to be strong, always pushing through symptoms because life still has to happen. Stress is not just a feeling. Stress is chemistry. It changes hormones, it changes sleep, digestion, it changes inflammation, and it changes how your body feels. Research has found links between stressful life events and MS exacerbations. And while stress is not the whole story, it can be a powerful part of the picture for many people. And this is where I want women especially to hear me. You cannot heal while constantly living like you are being chased. Your body needs moments of safety. Not a perfect life, not zero stress, that's not realistic, but signals that tell your nervous system we are okay right now. That can be breathing, sunlight, prayer, meditation, a slow walk, just turning off or turning down the noise, saying no, eating enough, sleeping, resting without guilt. Don't feel bad about it. These things may look small, but to your nervous system, they are messages that things are okay. Trigger 3, sleep deprivation and repair. Sleep is another trigger that people underestimate because sleep is not just rest. Sleep is repair. It is when your brain clears waste. It's when hormones regulate. It's when inflammation can calm down. It is when your immune system recalibrates. And when sleep breaks down, everything else breaks down with it, and your symptoms tend to get louder. Pain gets louder, cravings get louder, anxiety gets louder, inflammation gets louder. Recent reviews continue to examine the connection between sleep and MS, risk and disease activity, and mechanisms such as immune and inflammatory changes. I know this is hard because many women with chronic illness don't sleep well because they already feel bad. So it becomes a loop. You feel bad, so you don't sleep. You don't sleep, so you feel worse. That is why evening routines matter even more. Light matters. Caffeine timing matters if you're going to have it. Make sure you don't have it too late in the day. It takes a long time to get out of your system. Don't have caffeine after lunch if you can. Definitely do not have it after 3 p.m. Ideally, don't have it at all if you can. Just lower the caffeine content earlier in the day if you are having it. Try to reduce your stress at night. Keep in mind your phone matters. The way you end your day, it matters. Not because you need another rule, but because your body needs a chance to repair. Trigger 4 is food, blood sugar, and inflammation. We got to talk about it. We do. We've got to talk about food. And I want to say this carefully because food can feel emotional. This is not about shame. This is not about fear. This is not about never enjoying your life or having something good to eat that you enjoy, that tastes yummy. This is about understanding that food is information. Every meal tells your body something. Some food tells your body, we have minerals, we have protein, we have healthy fats, we have what we need to repair. Other foods tell your body, here comes a spike, here comes inflammation, here comes another burden to process. And if your body is already overwhelmed, food can either support the healing process or add to the load. That doesn't mean one cookie causes disease. It means the daily pattern matters. The repeated pattern matters. What you do most of the time matters because your body is building life from what you give it. Trigger 5 is vitamin D. So sunlight and the immune system, they go hand in hand. Vitamin D is a major piece. The National MS Society notes that low vitamin D levels are identified as a risk factor for developing MS. And researchers continue to study the role of sun exposure and vitamin D MS risk. Like they go hand in hand. And again, this does not mean vitamin D is the whole answer, but it is one more example of how your environment speaks to your immune system. Sunlight matters. Time outside matters. Nutrient status matters. Your body is not separate from nature. We were designed to interact with the light, the air, movement, minerals, seasons, and real food. Modern life has pulled many people indoors, under artificial light, eating processed foods, living stressed, sleeping poorly. And then we wonder why the body feels confused. Sometimes the body is not confused. Sometimes the environment is confusing the body. So that brings us to trigger 6, which is toxins and the total body burden that creates. We do need to zoom out a little bit because even if we don't know every exact cause, we do know the body has to process what it's exposed to. So air quality, chemicals, fragrances, pesticides, mold, heavy metals, plastics, cleaning products, personal care products. And I know this can feel overwhelming. I'm not saying you need to be afraid of everything, but awareness is powerful because when the body is already inflamed, already tired, already trying to repair, every extra burden matters. Your liver has to process. Your gut has to handle. Your immune system has to decide what is safe and what is not. And sometimes healing begins by gently lowering the load. Not perfectly, not overnight, but one decision at a time. So trigger 7, we're going to discuss gut health and immune confusion because your gut is not just about digestion. A huge part of immune activity is connected to the gut. And your gut barrier, microbiome, digestion, bowel movements, and inflammation, they all play a role in how your body responds. Reviews on MS and gut microbiota continue to discuss the relationship between gut bacteria, immune regulation, and environmental risk factors such as EBV, vitamin D deficiency, smoking, obesity, and your diet, of course. And this makes sense when you think about it. If your gut is irritated, your immune system is exposed to more chaos. And if digestion is poor, you may not absorb nutrients well. If your microbiome is imbalanced, your immune system may receive mixed signals. And if your immune system is already sensitive, mixed signals matter. This is why I care so much about nourishment, not dieting, nourishment. There is a difference. Dieting says, how little can I eat? Nourishment says, what does my body need to repair? that shift matters. And it brings us to trigger 8. I want to discuss heat, illness, and pseudo-flares. For people with MS especially, this part is important. Sometimes symptoms flare because there is new inflammation, but sometimes old symptoms can temporarily worsen because the nervous system is under stress. The National MS Society explains that relapses involve immune attacks and inflammation in the central nervous system. It's also widely recognized that infections, heat, and stress can temporarily worsen MS and mimic flare-like symptoms in some people. This is why people can sometimes feel worse when they are overheated or sick or exhausted and under stress. It does not mean you're imagining it. It does not mean it is not real. It means your nervous system has a lower margin for stress. And when the system is pushed, old weak spots can show up. This is why learning your personal triggers matters so much. You are not being dramatic. Your body is giving you information. Here's the easiest way to understand this. Imagine your body as a bucket, and every stressor adds water to the bucket. Poor sleep adds water, inflammatory food adds water, emotional stress adds water, infection adds water, toxins add water, nutrient deficiencies add water, overworking adds water, not resting adds water. And for a while you may feel okay, but eventually the bucket overflows. That overflow is when symptoms show up, and most people only start paying attention when the bucket spills. But the healing work starts before the overflow. It starts by asking, what is filling my bucket? And what can I gently begin to remove? This is why this matters so much. Because if you do not understand triggers, you may spend your whole life chasing symptoms. You chase fatigue, you chase pain, you chase brain fog, you chase inflammation, you chase flare-ups, but you never ask what keeps lighting the flare. And I don't want that for you. I want you to understand your body well enough that you start seeing patterns. I want you to be able to say, when I don't sleep, I feel this. When I eat this way, I feel this. When I'm stressed for too long, I feel this. When I slow down and support my body, I feel this. That is not obsession. That is wisdom. That is stewardship. That is learning that language that your body is trying to speak to you. And here's the encouraging part. If triggers exist, then support matters. Your choices matter. Your routines matter. Your food matters. Your sleep matters. Your stress matters. Your environment matters. Your healing is not completely outside of your hands. You may not control everything. None of us do. But you can influence the terrain your body is living in. And sometimes that influence is what changes the direction of your life. This is exactly why I created my guide, because I know how overwhelming it feels when you start realizing how connected everything is. Food, supplements, stress, sleep, inflammation, gut health, nervous system support. It can feel like too much. So I wanted to lay it out in a way that feels simple, doable, and encouraging, not because change is easy. It is not. Changing your diet, your habits, your routines, and your lifestyle, it can be hard. But staying sick is hard too. And I believe you are worth the work. You are worth it. If you want the step-by-step guide, you can find the order link in the description below. So if you take nothing else from this video, take this. Your symptoms are not random. Your body is not the enemy. Your body is responding. And the more you understand what it is responding to, the more you can begin to support it. Not perfectly, not fearfully, not all at once, but faithfully, one choice at a time, one pattern at a time, one layer at a time. Because when you stop fighting your body and start listening to it, everything begins to change. Subscribe, comment, let me know what was helpful. Let me know what more you'd like to learn about. I am here for you. I am your health coach because you are worth it. Let me know what you would like to hear about. I promise I'm going to listen and I'm going to respond. I'll see you in the next one.